So I wanted to talk to you today about Burnt Umber and why it's in my limited palette. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I use 5 colors. So let me just kind of try to explain to you why it's such an essential part of anybody's palette. And the modern Burnt Umber that is the color that I think Winsor Newton uses, and there's a few other people. It is not necessarily a very traditional color. It tends to be more red than the traditional color is. But this particular Burnt Umber, and it's the same Burnt Umber pigment that we use in Geneva in our oil colors, is got a reddish tinge to it. It's really not reddish so much as it is just kind of yellow. It's almost better to think about Burnt Umber as a dark yellow. In fact, if you want to, paint a banana on a yellow tablecloth, the shadow, or the deepest, darkest shadow on that banana is going to be just pure Burnt Umber. So, yellow is a problematic color, so to speak, because it's so bright that if you throw it into anything, it lightens it up like crazy. So really you should think about Burnt Umber as like a dark yellow. Now if you put a little bit of red into it, it makes wonderful, deep orange colors and deep earthy browns and all the rest. And certainly if you're going to mix colors for like an orange fruit or anything that's just a strong orange, you're going to use Burnt Umber without any blue in it. And that gets to my point about mixing with Burnt Umber, and that is that if you start off, most color groups that you mix colors for, tend to start with black or something very close to black, but black is in, most color groups. And so if you take a color group and you start with black as your first color and you're mixing that, and then your next color is, or let's say you're mixing the color of an orange fruit or something with a really strong orange, or like a yellow banana or whatever, something on the very yellow orange side of the color wheel, and you've got black, and then you add yellow to that, you're going to get green, as you can see here. And so to avoid that, anytime you're mixing really orangey colors or any brown or earthy colors, don't take your black pile, which is 60% blue, and try to lighten that up, because there's way too much blue in that. Instead, start again with pure Burnt Umber, and that can almost be your first step out of black. Now, Burnt Umber is a big step out of black, meaning in terms of value and the darkness of it. It's a good, definite step out of black. But if you're going to mix anything like a banana or an orange fruit or anything that's orange, a sunset or whatever, then you absolutely need to set your black aside if that's your first color, which has got 60% blue in it, which is the opposite of orange, and start all over again with even take your brush and mix some Burnt Umber into it and wipe it out and start again, so that you've got pure Burnt Umber in that pile, and that blue's not going to be killing your orange. So that's one thing about Burnt Umber. Then, a lot of people, let me just talk about the difference between Burnt Umber and, say, traditional raw umber. And raw umber is a wonderful color. It's in so many things that you see, all over, a shadow of an olive or whatever it is. And so there's nothing wrong at all with the color of the raw umber. But number one, raw umber varies greatly depending on the manufacturer and, the source where it's from. So there's a lot of variation. But basically, I can take my Burnt Umber, the Geneva Burnt Umber, or the Winsor Newton Burnt Umber for that matter, and put a little bit of yellow in it, a little bit of white in it, a little bit of blue, and essentially mix raw umber with my Burnt Umber. So therefore, I don't really need raw umber on my palette because I can mix it up. And if you do have raw umber on your palette, it's almost like you've got white and blue and yellow pre-mixed into your Burnt Umber, which you wouldn't want, especially if you're trying to mix like a really deep, orange color. And you're going to have trouble with that raw umber. So Burnt Umber is a wonderful color. It's really should be just thought of as like a dark yellow or a dark, orange color. And I've got it on the center of the color wheel down in the orange section, and that's because, you really use it for oranges and for yellows. But it's a wonderful dark yellow. And if you just think about it like that, it'll really help you in trying to understand how to use it and why it's such an essential part of a limited palette. One last sort of, almost magical quality about burnt umber is that if you've got milk in your painting and you've got milk in your shadows of your still life or whatever it is, wherever you see a milk problem, and sometimes milk belongs and you shouldn't get rid of it if it's there. But if you've got a shadow that's too milky, just throw some burnt umber into it. You could almost think of burnt umber as the opposite of milk. And so anytime you see a milky area, just take some burnt umber and put it into it. Obviously, if that's a very light color, you're going to have to put some burnt umber along with some yellow and some red possibly, depending on the shade. I just wanted to quickly mention, if you haven't been to GenevaFineArt.com, this is my art supply company that I started, and we've been in business here in Austin now for going on 4 years. So we sell everything from brush holders to paint and colors, artist oil color, artist easels, palettes, and so go check it out, all the various products that we sell. And thank you guys so much for your support, and we'll see you guys next time.